The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. As you can see already, we are full of smiles, full of joy, festive joy.
Wasn't a minute ago, but yeah.
Thanks to Newcastle United. Deka, it's the first time you get to see this since it's been a while for Premier League.
Yeah, it's funny because
Premier League
we've won 6 in a row, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. So Deka, take it away, mate.
Well, won you now? Get it in, man.
It's just good to be back in it, Deka.
It's the best. It's the absolute best. Well, I think this might be the most positive one I've ever done. I think there's a real, believe it or not, Mark, it might be one of the most positive. This is it's hard to put into words how good this is. It really, really is. And we're probably all worried, after the World Cup, thinking, oh God, what they're going to be like. Can they perform the same way? I mean, Eddie Howe's talked about a little bit of rust here and there. Well, I didn't see near rust in that first 30 minutes. I mean, we were absolutely out of the blocks.
We were WD-40 to the max.
Yeah, we were, yeah. New sponsor next season. No, amazing. Like, unbelievable. Couldn't have went any better.
Great start, though.
Yeah.
And get that early goal always helps.
Before we jump into the game itself, right, if you're looking at the starting 11, I'll stay with you, Mark. Were you a little bit worried that Callum Wilson wasn't starting?
Yeah, that was the big a bit fluffy enough. Big pre-match surprise.
So was there fluff in your mouth now?
That's what you had down your shirt before, isn't it? Off-camera joke. It was because there was no kind of little chat around that like before the game of him, being an injury doubt or the fact that he hadn't travelled or anything like that. It just suddenly team sheet came out and no Callum Wilson.
He was fully left in my fantasy Premier League team.
It's because you normally get like little whispers and stuff like that, and when he has had like his little injury worries, and the last game we didn't expect him to play, and he started.
Do you think it's Eddie Howe's mind games once again, where he always keeps his cards close to his chest when it comes to injuries and time scales when they're going to be back?
Yeah, it could be, but as I say, you normally get those little whispers kind of in at least 2 or 3 hours before the game or something like that.
I know
with the press coming out, but nothing, not a sausage.
I was I would say worried's too much of a strong term, but I was a bit it's concerned less than worried. I don't know, but I was thinking, it's a shame, and obviously Maxi wasn't starting as well, and I kind of thought I would have liked to seen him back in there. So I'm a huge fan of Kris Wood, so I was glad he was up front starting for her. So no, it was all right. It was okay. No, be all right.
I sense was a little undertone to that comment.
No, I'm just understanding.
So I'm the same as you. I put in the Telegram group straight away that you feel as, and I mentioned this on the reaction, which we did as well at full time yesterday. As soon as you say Callum Wilson's name not on that team sheet at all, never mind in the starting 11, it feels a bit of a kick to the gut, like to the bollocks, really thinking, there's where chance has gone down a little bit.
Well, he's your main man, isn't he? He's your striker, and he's the one that if he's not on the team sheet, you think, oh God, where's goals going to come from this game? But
the thing is,
we've scored a lot of goals from a lot of areas, so it takes that pressure away.
As soon as the game starts, I'm thinking, why was I worried?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Because the team itself, if you're missing one key player, we've seen it in the past where we'll just fall a bit, absolutely fall a bit with our previous management and previous setups. This time, we could be missing 2, 3 key players, and we're still putting a shift, and it still looks like we haven't got out of first gear. It looks like we've still got a hell of a lot more to give.
Oh, I'd be a bit more worried if we're missing 2 or 3 key players.
Do you not think we are? So if you're looking at key players, right, at the start of the season, Wilson would be in there. St. Maximin will probably be in there as a key player as well.
Well,
And
I don't know
now
about that.
with the arrival of Isaac as well, possibly, I know
Yeah.
it's yet to be decided because he hasn't featured much, but that's 3 of your top players that aren't featuring in a game and will absolutely thrash another rival in the Premier League.
Yeah, well, you go back to. I felt like this at the Chelsea game. Chelsea, to me, Chelsea was a huge game in terms of like, it was real top quality opposition. Kind of, forgive us if I'm wrong in positions, but it was like 4th against 5th or whatever it was at the time, whatever it was, and it just felt a huge game. And then Wilson's not starting, Maxi's not starting, and I'm thinking, oh Jesus, what chance have you got? And in fairness, we're probably with a better team and we won the game. I think it's what you're on about, Eddie Howe, is in terms of getting a tune out of everybody, isn't it? And definitely what's changed from previous management, certainly, not mentioning any names here, but you used to lose one man. You used to lose one player. And Mark famously used to say you've got to adapt, but we couldn't adapt under him. You know what I mean? We couldn't adapt under him, whereas now, we all know, surely, that if Wilson's up front, I think we're a bigger team, we're more of a threat. There's no question of that. Wilson leads the line better. He's certainly got a goal in him more than what Wood has.
There's more chances.
There has to be. There just is, right? There just is. And there's countless games where he's come back on and we'll go, oh, that's the difference Wilson can make. However, we still managed to be a threat as a team, even when he's not on the pitch. And I'll still go back to this. And now I'm, it's long in the tooth what I'm saying here. I cannot believe how much of a threat we are as a team without St. Maximin. I still can't believe that. If you had went back a year ago and said to me, oh, you'll not be playing for months going by here, and we're doing as well as we are, I would say that's impossible. To be sitting second in the league, by the way, without him, I would say you're just dreaming. You haven't got a clue. Clearly, I don't have a clue, but because I never ever thought, I'm sure not many people watching here would say, oh, I always thought we'd be in the top 4 without him. No way, just no way. And that's how that will maybe him.
Especially when you look at it, so Joelinton has gone from a failing striker to a box-to-box midfielder, arguably you could say, and then now he's on the left-hand side of that midfield as well. Joelinton can literally play anywhere.
It's insane.
In his favourite position.
Apart from a striker.
It's I mean, to touch on the first goal, obviously, happened so fast. The pressing from the front, man. How good is the pressing?
Hunting impacts on them.
Yeah, like Leicester didn't know what to do. They couldn't breathe. We were just on them straight away. And obviously, how referencing that as well straight after the game, saying the forward press, and again it won the ball back. And you've got Joelinton in a dangerous area. I did really well to commit the foul. Poor defending, really. I would be annoyed if it was Botman doing that, for example. But it was just the way you want to see it start, isn't it? You just want to see we're out the blocks on the front foot, and that's what we are now.
It was very similar to that performance. Well, the first 10 minutes performance at Old Trafford, Mark.
Yeah.
The one that we went and we're 2-0 up within 10 minutes on that one. It's the same again, where we'll just run right.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's like before the game, as I say, I'm looking at that and thinking, God, Leicester are a team that, if you came up against them at the start of the season, you'd maybe expect a performance like that and a result like that, but they're in a good run of form. And I'm saying at the minute, obviously, we have had the international break and stuff, but they turned the season around somewhat. They put a good run of form together, and there were two teams on paper that on form and on performances that were pretty evenly matched. I remember going down to Leicester the last couple of seasons, going down there with a thought we could probably get something from here, and
leaving with a hiding.
Yeah. So
other than
that
Bruce one, that absolute ridiculous game.
4-0 one last Boxing Day, wasn't it? Was enough.
Oh, sorry, there was that the one that was 6-2. I remember in that Bruce, which was the most random game ever. We have getting the odd spanking down there. Obviously I know them were missing Madison, which, let's be fair, he is a huge player for them. But again, to reference us, we're still missing 2 of our best players as well. So, but I agree that they've certainly turned a corner. I appreciate the World Cup's been in the middle of that corner, but I still thought it was going to be a tough game. And half an hour in, Jesus Lord, I mean,
we looked, as you say, the stuff that we played, particularly in the first half, we were brilliant. The energy, the press that we were doing, the moves, the little 1-2s that were going on, which will come on to a fantastic one, as we get into the game. But it was just, it's stuff that you see in the training videos and stuff like that, and things where Howe gets them working on, just to kind of get that almost muscle memory of like the moves and the positions that they need to be in, playing in those little tight triangles and just keeping the ball in and being comfortable with it. It's just
again
glorious
over that side of the field. between Bruno, Almiron. I know, of course, the second goal comes there, but it's the same. You know, I mean, even how Longstaff in there, that quartet on that side of the field caused so much trouble.
It's the same move every single time.
Every time.
So it doesn't matter how much homework that the opposition team and the coaches and the players do, they fall for it every single time.
It does seem at the moment no one seems to know how to stop it. And you know what it is, right? Someone will, and then you have to think of another way to get around that. But I mean, now for almost the full year Howe's been in charge, really, it's kind of been the same, right? Like it's been this which is unbelievable. And again, I'll reference me mate again. Previously, it was on the left-hand side. It was all we had. We had nothing down the right-hand side. And what a change that's been, where now everything I feel, all the good stuff goes down that side, which is...
We mentioned this a few times, and we'll always mention it on the previews that we do. That left-hand side of the field, and Maxie's a huge talking point on this podcast, for good and bad reasons, to be honest. And on that left-hand side now, that you've got Joelinton on there, and you've got Willock, and those two are just constantly changing throughout the game. One of them will just fill in for the other one. But then that gives Dan Burn that freedom as well at left back, because he's not solely there just to defend, as if he probably would be if Saint was on the field. I know Saint has improved a lot defensively and tracking back, but he's still not.
He's never going to be that.
Not what Joelinton offers.
No.
But I think the left-hand side of the field now, it's just as important as that right-hand side, because those three players in Burn, Willock and Joelinton, that chemistry that those three have as well is fantastic too.
There's good balance across the pitch. Like you say, in those little players, you've got those little triangles available, and they know where each other are within them. And you know, on the left hand side, you've got the two Joes filling in for each other. You've got it with Bruno and Longstaff on the right hand side, like filling in and stuff like that. I mean, jump to it now, like that Miggy's goal that we're talking about. Bruno starts that off in our own half with a unbelievable turn, and that ball out wide to...
It was Zidane-esque. The whole thing was Zidane-esque for me.
Well, it was like a Cruyff turn mixed in with Maradona, and then that...
God, even the ball out to Trippier, there's a player just standing not far in front of him as well, and he just lifts that over perfectly.
But when you see the ball from behind Bruno, it looks like it's going directly to Miggy, and Miggy almost like puts his hand up and says, "Oh, cheers, thanks for that."
Miggy's waiting. Then
Trippier
for it.
Just suddenly.
I do think it was meant for Miggy, but then Trippier's like, "No, I'll have this."
So Miggy's waiting for it. Then Trippier, just before he touches the ball, he tells Miggy, "You start running." So he goes, "Go." Then as soon as he's gone, straight through, and
Trippier's touch, and then the little flick over the top for Miggy, and then
as a team goal between those four players. Arguably, you could stick Joelinton in there as well, because he's got the strength there that holds the ball off. Then he basically toe punts it to Bruno, really. Yeah. But honestly, the fluidity of that possession that we've had and that movement that we had, and for Miggy to that first touch, control the ball, get in the box, but before that, even the ball by Bruno, that 1-2, we see it so many times. A defender's just scared to touch Miggy because he's so fast and he's running with that ball.
Yeah, well, I think let's be fair. Bruno and Miggy have got a very, very good relationship going on. We've seen it many, many times, be it runs in behind and balls over the top, hence the goal against, I believe it was Wolves away. Could be wrong, they maybe Fulham. The Lush one was one over the top, and they have this chemistry going on. But Almiron, to be running, obviously he cuts inside first, just enough so that the defender doesn't foul him or get the ball. But I love when a player passes the ball, but he wants to move on. He doesn't just pass it and go, "Oh, well, I've done well there."
Yeah.
He passes the ball, he's moving straight away. But the weight of the pass from Bruno is unbelievable, because obviously Miggy's first touch is like glue.
Just takes in his stride.
That actual move there was incredible. And as you rightly say, they've just given a penalty away, not so long before that. And if anyone goes near Almiron, it's another one. Mm-hmm. So it's like, next thing, and the finish is just calm as now we're getting used to seeing from him. He scored the same kind of goal quite often. It's a beautiful, beautiful goal. That it really is unbelievable.
It's just honestly, it's Miggy's like having his own competition for goal of the season now. It's getting absolutely ridiculous.
Madness, isn't it?
Absolutely ridiculous.
I've seen some sort of stat. Forgive us, I might be wrong here, but it was something like he scored 9 in 11 or 9 in 12 games or something like that. And his previous 9 was in 110 games.
Like 119 or something like that. Yeah.
Like, it's just insane, isn't it? Like, it's just mad.
He's absolutely on fire. And there's rumours of him getting a new contract at the club.
Good move. It's crazy to think that a lot of people were expecting it to be sold in the summer and to be away. And we sat and here in the summer and talked about that that right wing position and needing to strengthen there. I still think we do, because it's he cannot possibly keep going on the way he is, can he? Can he?
If Bruno's around him and if Trippier's performing well, 100%.
Well, when you, do you know what it is? I'm getting the Joelinton vibes of. I felt like that about Joelinton when there was like, I think it's 6 games in a row and he played really well. Yeah, that's a fantastic run of form he's on. Then all of a sudden it went 10, 15, 20. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, hang on, this is what he is.
Yeah.
I think it's not far from now where you've got to start saying the same thing about Miggy. This is just what he is. Which, yes, to be fair, would be unbelievable. I'm not saying he's going to keep scoring as many. That's not what I'm saying. But I think in terms of him being a threat and making them runs and being good on the ball, that his quality on the ball has been amazing. He's hard work you'll always get. You'll always get that no matter what.
Which was highlighted in Match of the Day, his and Joelinton.
Yeah. There was loads of times when he ran back and pinched him again, like which he used to do even when he wasn't scoring many goals. But I mean, God, what do you think he'd be worth now? Realistically, imagine if let's say I don't know, sort of, because we're looking at, because we know the background of Miggy and so does everybody else. But
when you look at players in that kind of position, the age that he is, and the form that you're talking about, he's
the highest scoring midfielder in the Premier League this season so far.
Yeah, you look at the figures that get bandied around. That you think some of the teams that are abroad, if that we've been linked with to come here, you're easily talking 40 to 60 million.
Yeah,
because that's the bracket of, on paper, with those stats, those performances that they're commanding.
I think you're probably looking at the higher end of that.
Yeah,
I think you are, based on what we're seeing. Do you know what I mean? As I'm not trying to say we're selling or anything, I'm not being stupid. I'm just hypothetically talking. What do you think that he'd be worth now? But it's been an unbelievable, as the Joelinton transformation as well. I mean, I don't think anyone seen this coming from Miggy. Like, I didn't think he had the quality. To be fair, I always knew he had the pace and the work rate. That goal again, I mean, yes, the one that's over the top and he volleys it in the corner. I mean, Jesus,
that's Fulham, that one.
It's ridiculous, right? That was an amazing goal. There's many other goals he scored, but that one yesterday was really just a quality goal.
It was just a nice team goal as well.
It was beautiful. Beautiful.
All of the little touches and people that were involved in it just came together beautifully.
One of the other players which I want to give huge credit to as well, and you just mentioned there, at Joelinton, the strength that boy has is ridiculous. People just can't get the ball off him, and the way he just shields the ball, he just steps in front of it and goes, "It's mine now."
I think his first touch has improved an awful lot as well. So when the ball's played into him, he manages to take a first touch, but then instantly manages to position his body in a way where you ain't going to get the ball. And if you do, it's a foul. And I think it sometimes can be difficult. I think if you're asking a player to be a box-to-box midfielder, then, within a few weeks, or I want you to play left wing here or whatever, that can be sometimes hard. But I think his confidence and his love and his enjoyment of playing is just, I'm not saying carrying him through. I don't mean that, but I'm certainly think it's helping. Do you know what I mean?
Even the position he gets in to win the penalty as well. He knows exactly what he's doing there. He's just knocking that ball ahead because he knows that challenge is coming. Then it's a Stonewall penalty. I haven't seen anybody in disagreement. No, with
the replay is he's right over the top of his foot, isn't he?
Bestie.
Just because I mentioned the penalty there, that refereeing performance, I think that's one of the best performances I've seen for a long time in the Premier League.
And why do you think that?
He let the game flow from start to finish, and I think he got every single decision right without relying on VAR.
It's a funny one because pre-game, everybody was absolutely slating him.
Oh, that's with every ref though. So every ref gets
just because of that
fan's getting it wrong again.
Mark, that he's kind of been involved with and stuff like that, and some of his previous decisions haven't always been great. But I remember before he came over here, like everybody was raving on about him, what a great referee that he was, and then I don't know. It's performances with, like, if there's no kind of tricky decisions in a great game and stuff like that, where it could go either way and that kind of thing, it's very easy as a referee not to grab the headlines if you just, as you say, let the game flow.
Well, Jules has commented in industry way saying that she felt that the ref was largely invisible. And that's exactly how it should be. Yeah,
well, for me, there was a lot of challenges where I honestly thought, oh, I'm surprised that I was glad it wasn't. There was a few Botman, and I want to come on to Botman a bit later, but Botman leaned into a few people, pushed a few people over, and I was thinking, I think other refs would have given that a foul. I don't think it was a foul. I'm just saying. But I agree. I thought he got every decision right, and he let the game flow both ways. There's a few times we did some really strong challenges, and them did. I think Longstaff got hit a few times where I thought, that's probably a foul, lad. He didn't give it. And you think, okay, like, but I thought he let the game flow really, really well, personally. I thought it was a really good display.
It's what you want, isn't it? I mean, we sat here the other week, it was bloody months ago now, wasn't it? Where, or was it the cup game? It might be the cup game where the referee was just stopping and starting everything and breaking it up and stuff like that.
No worse, is it? No worse.
It's horrendous to watch that. So that's what you want from a referee, is to be unnoticed,
Just
go
hide in the
invisible.
shadows,
So, and if there is something happens, that's when you get involved. But if it is a little bit of a stronger challenge, providing you're not going in and hurting somebody, you're not putting somebody at risk, then let it flow.
Yeah, I agree.
But like we said there, and this is just the first 10 minutes of the game covered.
Yeah.
And this is all the conversation straight away, what we've seen. And you mentioned early on there, the fact that we're hunting in packs. It's just, I mentioned this on the preview once again, on the reaction once again, that most Premier League teams like to pass out from the back. We're seeing it ourselves, something which I haven't seen. God knows, I don't think we've ever seen it before, like the way we're seeing it at the minute. We don't give the opposition a chance to do that. We are literally closing them down. 3 players running at the ball.
It's funny because the modern game is everyone wants to play out from the back. That's just every team wants to do it. Even if you're watching lower league, that's the style now. But I tell you what it is, you got to be damn good at it if you come against a team like ourselves that is willing to press with 3 and 4. And it's not just a case of just, all right, let's everyone go and press, because teams will pass it around you. But I'll reference the Chelsea game again. Chelsea are some fantastic individuals in their team. Them struggled to pass out from the back because we had them under so much pressure.
Man City, if you go right back to the Man City game,
yeah.
They really struggled.
And you know what is mad as well, though, is we've sat and watched the total reverse of that, where we've just sat.
Well, I was
being screamed,
just sitting there thinking to myself, how often did we used to sit here and say, "God, just go and press the ball, just press the ball." We used to sit and say it week after week after week, and would never do it.
Yeah.
But
thankfully, we're seeing it now.
We're seeing it now with the difference in fitness, in
that's what it's down.
Pace,
fitness,
strength, everything, and that comes from working hard on the training ground, and you can see it. It's getting
We're talking about fitness, and one of the players who I've seen over the last couple of weeks basically get described as the weak link in the team is Sean Longstaff.
Oh,
I thought he had the last couple of games I've seen, well, probably the last handful of games, he's improving every single week. And I think, yes, if you're looking at the 3 midfielders, he probably is the weakest link, but he's still putting in decent performances. And is he as talented as Willick Bruno? Definitely not. But is he doing a different job completely? 100% he's doing that job really well at the minute.
Well, I would agree. The player that I think struggled the last few games has been Willick. I thought the cup game was very poor, actually. And I thought at times yesterday, in and out of it, but
growing into the game again. Isn't he?
Sorry to reference what you were saying. Sorry, is Longstaff. I just think sometimes where he gets judged a little bit is his ability on the ball in tight areas. If he receives the ball in a tight area, I start to worry a little bit. Whereas, of course, if Bruno gets it, it'd be fine. You just have that. And that's what it is, right? And you're never going to be able to coach Longstaff or train Longstaff to be any better than that. That's just the way it is. But certainly the lad's work rate. And I still say tactical knowledge. He's another one that'll fill in the right areas. He'll press in the right areas. There's a few times if Trippier bombs are forward, Longstaff will be the one that'll come and cover. So he's tactically so switched on. I do agree, of course, maybe offensively on the ball. All right. You might be a bit limited there, but you cannot knock him. You know what I mean? You cannot knock him.
No. It's because he does the unsexy things. He goes unnoticed in games because he's not capturing the headlines with defense splitting passes or long bursting runs forward and stuff like that. But it's as you say, he's doing a necessary job rather than something that's going to capture people's imagination. So that's why he gets a lot of stick, because what's he doing in there? But it's exactly as you say. Bruno wouldn't be as effective as he is if Longstaff wasn't there, because Bruno is allowed to get pushed forward and get into those positions that he's getting in forward, because he knows that Longstaff will drop back in and cover for him.
And Longstaff's willing to do that as well. I think that's another key thing, is that they're all willing to play for each other. But I agree, if Bruno does go on a run or whatever it is, Longstaff will be quite happy just to fill in. And
he'll drop out. And again, it helps with Trippier as well, because we all know Trippier likes to be as far up that right-hand side as he possibly can. And that, again, means that Longstaff has sometimes got to drop back into that right-hand side and chase back and stuff like that. So it's probably a thankless task because people think, well, what is he bringing to his team? But when you look at those kind of things and look at, as you say, from a tactical point of view, and his knowledge and reading of the game, it's a necessity to allow us to play the way that we do.
And I've seen some stats as well, ground covered, and I know Longstaff's name's always been right up there.
Right up there.
And that's why, and that's exactly why, is because he's covering for everybody else and doing it. He's a massive team player. You know, it's a water carrier role, isn't it? It's that kind of thing, allowing everybody else to go out and express themselves, but sacrificing, headlines for yourself by just again, doing that dirty work.
Huge credit to him, because you think of the Longstaff that came on the scene for that 10-11 game period in Arafa. We had not seen that, had we, for a long time. And I will hold my hand up and say, definitely, I felt that when Howe come in and the money came, I expected Longstaff to probably be the one that maybe would be forced out to get someone else. And Longstaff is becoming or certainly showing signs of that player we first seen. You know what I mean? And I definitely think that's fitness as well, mind you, in terms of training and stuff, because he looked like he was running a trick, and everyone said, "Oh, it's the injury. He hasn't recovered from the injury." Well, now he's absolutely busting the gut all over the field. So it's application and training, I think, as well as help. So
now, coming back to your point of the weakest link, I think he probably is. And I think when you look at in there at the minute, that if you were going to improve somewhere, I've said it. You look to get somebody that can actually go in and play in that 6, which then frees Bruno up to go forward. That's got that athleticism. Will he be able to cover the ground? Will be able to get across, pass the ball and stuff like that. So do the stuff that Longstaff's doing, but to a higher level.
And I agree. Yeah. I have to agree.
Yeah. Do you think the terminology weakest link is just of a lack of a better description?
Yeah, we're not saying he's bad. We're not saying he's.
It sounds harsher than it
is. It sounds like he's absolutely shocking player at the minute, doesn't it?
No, he's just like, as Deka's just said there around Joe Willock. He's had a couple of poor games in his kind of, because we know the performances that he can put in. Again, we're not saying that he's playing terribly or anything like that, or that he shouldn't be in the team. It's just that's the levels that we're at now. And again, when we've talked about like looking at a transfer and stuff like that, like you don't necessarily need to look at somebody to think, oh well, they're going to like that right wing position, because people are still banging on about, oh, we need to sign James Madison, we need to get him out on the right. Why? We've got Miggy doing a great job. But what's to say that if we did sign Madison, you then got 2 players to go and play in that position? So, but
you can't be dropping Miggy, like.
Well, that's it. But then it's a luxury position to be in, because if I still don't think we'll get Madison or go for him, but if we did, then you don't have to rush him into the team. He doesn't have to start. He doesn't have to go straight in there. And we know how, if he signs somebody, he doesn't always chuck them straight in. They've got to get in on merit. And at the moment, you cannot dislodge them because they're playing very, very well.
And just to go back to Longstaff just for a second, he's always available. It's very rarely that he's sidelined for a long period of time. Yes, he had that injury not so long ago, but that's the last one I can remember. It's very rare that he does miss games. You look at who's probably a natural replacement for him in Shelvey, and Shelvey's out again for another handful of weeks, 6 weeks apparently.
6 to 8 weeks.
This time, is Shelvey going to be the one that'll probably look at shifting in January?
I think he's out of contract in the summer, is he?
Well, I heard
there's another year left.
There's an extension thing, isn't there? Now, obviously,
yes, but he hasn't triggered it yet. Yeah,
I don't think. Well, obviously, with the injury being what it is, January's out the window. I think in terms of a transfer, I think anything. I think we're stuck with him. To be fair, I've learned a lot of things. I've sort of. I've just mentioned it just 2 minutes ago about Longstaff. Longstaff will be the one that Howe would move on. Absolute load of shite, Deka. No way. So I don't want to sit here now and go, Shelvey's gone. He's going to be packing his bags. He's off. Because you just don't know. You know what I mean? I'll go back to the Joelinton. We'll go back to Almiron. You just don't know in football what the change around can be. However,
you would think with his age,
I feel for him
that
because
kind of
I feel
thing,
he's really, really, really put it in. Like to lose the weight and to try and. Because again, we'll go back again then. So everyone was saying, oh, God, if they're training twice a day and 5 days a week, Shelvey will want away. He's too lazy. No. Shelvey went and lost all this weight and he's tried his best, but unfortunately his body's maybe not up to it,
It's because he's not used to training that hard.
Well, hey, maybe. But this second injury is a bad one. I mean, 60.
It's unfortunate for him because he has just got back fit, played 3 games over the last few weeks, and
it's tough. Like, but you know, if my head's saying it, probably he would be the one that you'd look to move on, because let's be fair, right, you can't just hang on to people that are injured all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had a huge spell out. He's come back then another 6 to 8 weeks. Who's to say he comes back after 2 games and breaks down again?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where does it end?
I think it's only, probably 3-4 competitive games, and two of those I think are just as cameos towards the end of the game as well. Yeah. You played in the cup game against Palace.
Mm-hmm. I will also say, even the Palace, or go back to the Palace, we were there.
Honking.
Well, it was a terrible game, right? Now, I've loved Shelby, and I've said many times, I've always said I feel like he has quality. But the more and more I watch what play, I ain't so sure he has the legs. Like, and I know he's never been quick. I'm not daft, I'm not thick. I can see football, I can watch it. But I really feel that even that Palace game, I know he hadn't been playing for a while, the overall tempo, didn't it? It just seemed slow, didn't it?
So the overall tempo was increased anyway under Howe.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to be one of the players that's probably going to get left behind because of everybody else that stepped that extra step forward?
I think so, yeah. I also think game time doesn't help him. I mean, he comes back and plays one game after however many months out. It's very, very difficult. I'm not saying it isn't. But it's just in that game, I remember it so strikingly to me, leaping out of us going, fucking hell. It felt like going back a few years ago where it was very pedestrian, very slow. Especially without the ball as well. He couldn't really chase back. And, it's just...
It's a good job we've got Jeff Hendrick coming back, isn't it?
And Dubravka.
He's had a great time, hasn't he?
We've got a couple coming back, yeah.
I'd want to reference before, probably... Well, no. Go to the third goal. Score. I'll come back.
So the third goal, just to wrap it up a bit in regards to the game. If anybody does have any questions, send them our way. As always, we'll go through as many as possible towards the end of the show. Third goal.
Half an hour. Exactly. We're going half an hour.
We'll have
31 minutes, and it's when the third goal went in. We're just on it now. So 30 minutes just to talk about the other 2 goals.
The third goal, I think that just sums up the overall performance from Newcastle versus Leicester.
Another set piece,
and we wanted it more. Joelinton wanted it more. And it was clear as day from the very first whistle that Leicester probably underestimated just how good we have been and how good we continue to be.
Well, they came out and said as much in the kind of the post match interviews and stuff like that. Brendan Rodgers came out and said it, that just we wanted it more. The players have said that that we took them by surprise with our intensity and all of that kind of thing, which it's a bit strange because if you've watched us this season, you know what you're going to get. So I don't know whether they just thought, again, coming back off the break and stuff like that. But we've been lucky with having the couple of, I was going to say it again, pre-season games, inter-season friendlies, and then the cup games just to try and help with that fitness and get that up. And I think that's definitely allowed us to hit the ground running again. Which is what we hoped would happen going into this weekend. But
I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit worried that we would pick up that form straight away and pick up those performances.
You know what?
I was a little bit worried that maybe we wouldn't perform as well as what we had been before the break, coming back into the Premier League games, because obviously we saw the mid-season friendly. Then the cup game, which we weren't great in that really. But then this game, I thought, right, we've got those 2 games out of the way. Let's see how we perform in that first competitive Premier League game. Yeah. And it's as if there wasn't a break.
Yeah, well, I think you have to. What I'm trying to think in my head is every other team's going through the same thing. It's not only just Newcastle haven't played now. Every team's had the same. So you've got to look at it that way as well. I do agree that the cup game was, for all we were the better team. We were quite ropey at the back for it, which is not like us. And I agree. I was thinking like, what will we see? But once you get that penalty, mind you, so early, what a settler that is. Yeah. I mean, that's a real settler for everybody. And I just, as I say again, you have to credit Howe so much here as well, as of course you do. But how many? Listen, there've been many managers. I don't think Brendan Rodgers set his team out to just be, just go easy, lads, be average. First 10 minutes. No. I'm sure every single manager tells the team, let's be at it from the first whistle. Let's get up. Do you know what I mean? What I'm seeing is the players are carrying through that message that Howe's given them nearly every single time they enter the field. And Howe mentioned that at the end of the game. I told the players from the off, I want to see high pressing, and they're delivering that. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I think's amazing at the minute, is that the players are without question listening to what Howe's saying, and they're believing in that, and they're going out delivering. And
it doesn't matter if it's the first minute or the 90th minute; they're still doing it.
100%. They're just listen. You see it from Bruno. I mean, Christ Almighty, doing challenge after challenge, and then shouting like he scored a goal, like cheering,
celebrating
celebrating.
the tackle,
Yeah.
man.
There's like
You did it twice.
twice,
know.
yeah. There's something. Well, we know what it is, but there really is something building throughout all of it, isn't there? That's just so special at the minute, and you can see it all over the players' faces, the fans.
Do
the
you
results.
keep on watching the performances by Bruno and thinking he's better than what I thought he was?
Look, I sat here and I told you there's no way that this kid should be playing for us. He's far too good.
Well, you are the French analyst, so yeah.
Like,
And German.
this
And
is
German, and
this is what he brings.
And
He's
Italian.
unbelievable,
And
man.
Italian.
It's scandalous that he's playing in black and white.
Well, I'm
Well,
gonna.
maybe beforehand, but now he's fitting right
It's
in there, mate. Second in the Premier League.
The first half,
Mental.
and I say the first half sounds daft because he did a beautiful movement for the second goal. At any point, you're gonna say no anyway here, but at any point, did you feel that he looked a little bit slow, a little bit like a bit languid on the ball? Because there's sometimes I was going, oh, he doesn't quite look.
I think he does that anyway.
I know.
Like,
I
he's
think,
a bit
yeah,
like
I know what you
kind
mean.
of.
I know what you mean.
I think it's just because he's so relaxed
Yes,
and like
I agree,
he's not phased. Like you said, there can be a player right on him. You'll just get the ball and turn away from him,
Yeah.
and he's away
Yeah.
because he's got that ability. So I think
He's
that
so calm, isn't he? So calm.
I think it's
ridiculous.
I can't deal with that
That's
quite
your
yet.
anxiety that kicking off.
Yeah,
Deka.
I'm like, well, move. You know what I mean?
well, that's
But I
because
shouldn't
you're used to John Joe Shelby and
yeah.
Isaac Hayden getting the ball in
No,
those
aye.
positions
Those were the
and
days.
taking 3 weeks to turn
Bring
with it.
that back.
Yeah, no, I give you that. Yeah, no, I give you that. No, he's absolutely fabulous. Now I'm going to mention my point. Sven Botman. My goodness gracious me, he is listen, it sometimes gets overlooked because you've won 3-0, you haven't conceded, everything's fine. He was immense yesterday. Was it yesterday? Aye.
He's immense
he's-
every single
He is.
game.
He is. Aye.
Unreal.
Isn't he
He's
unreal?
absolutely unreal.
I
He
can't
is, aye.
understand how he did not go with that Dutch team.
Well, I don't know how he didn't go. Well, you know how he didn't go somewhere else. Someone should have been looking at him. And
Well, Milan
probably
were,
were.
Milan were
Aye,
after him for a
aye,
long time, but they couldn't.
but I mean, like another English club.
Any Champions
Champions
League
League, yeah.
team.
He is unbelievable, man.
And I'm
It's
talking about
unbelievable.
Champions League team that are looking at winning.
He's so good. I honestly, there's 4 or 5, maybe even 6 moments in that game, where he was so switched on in a way. There was one of my favorite bits. It's hard to remember probably for you, but there was someone breaking into the box and looked quite dangerous. He come over and just shoulder barged him out the way, no bother. Took the ball, had a bit of pressure coming, and still found a pass, no problem at all. There was one he did off the line. Probably, it might not be. He didn't have that much pace on it, but he still had the whereabouts to get behind because Pope saved it onto him, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it was kind of rolling in, cleared it then. I honestly, he is unbelievable. And I always thought Jonathan Woodgate was the best. And I know it's early days, and we all said, "Oh, Jonathan Woodgate's the best we've ever seen." And I will say,
he's my baseline.
yeah,
like.
he's your baseline, mine as well. And I did have a feeling that when we signed him and everything I'd read about him, I kept saying, and go back, you never will, but if you go back, I did say I think he'll be the company, our Vincent company, over the next 10 years or whatever. If he can continue and stay injury free, he will be the greatest we've ever had. Like I'm telling you, he will be the best because the term Rolls Royce gets used sometimes too much, but that's what he is like. He is an Ivan Drago Rolls Royce. He's the best. The best.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Again, like when you look at the performances that he put in, and you said before there that there was the defense looked shaky a couple of times, and they did. You could there's a couple of times where the striker was between Cher and Botman and getting through, but then he would just read it and get across. And I think that's maybe one small criticism of him is his initial burst of pace isn't there. He isn't great at getting up to speed, but once he's there, he's not a slouch. So I think that maybe that goes against him with the bigger teams and stuff like that.
They hit one the counter attack and he caught up and he just barged the player. Just see you later, mine.
And I think that was the one I think I was. Is that going to be a foul? It wasn't, and it's all good. I will reference something you've said there. I do worry. Well, I'm going to read some stats out because I wrote things down tonight. Unbelievable. I come prepared.
Can you write?
Just
slow day with
true picture.
It's really slow. So, there isn't much pace at that back line. I think we have to be fair. Shea isn't very quick. I wouldn't say Botman's slow, but I probably agree over a standing start. He's not the fastest. God bless Byrne. He's not very quick. Trippier's
his leg length that gets him out of trouble, though, doesn't it?
So I still think that the back line's not the quickest, but stats I have for you.
That's out. We need.
Yeah,
I
this,
think we need a little klaxon.
It's terrible. Like. So I decided for a laugh to go back 10 years.
What's
10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
So it's 10.
Okay.
It's 10 years, right? So
2002.
definitely not. That's 20. So 2012.
Oh, sorry.
You're only 40 then. sorry.
2012.
Quick maths.
So the reason why is that I seen a stat the day about where we are currently. I appreciate we've only played 16 games, okay?
Do you
But
want to tell everybody where we are right now?
well, I will at the end.
All right. Okay.
So 2012, 2013, we had 6 clean sheets in the
Would
season.
that has been Pardew then?
McLaren was that?
Oh, had he gone
I
by
think
that
that-
point?
I
Well,
can't
12,
remember.
we'll not
13,
go about
Doesn't
that.
matter who it
I
was.
think.
Conceded 68. 13, 14, 10 clean sheets, conceded 58. 14, 15, 10 clean sheets. This is Premier League, by the way, because there's one, yeah, it's not there. 63 conceded. 15, 16, 8 clean sheets, conceded 65. We've then got 18, 19 clean sheets, 11, conceded 48. 19, 20, 11 clean sheets, conceded 58. 2021, 7 clean sheets, conceded 62. 21, 22 clean sheets, 8, conceded 62. At the minute, we've clean sheets 8 already, clean sheets, and conceded 11. And in the full year Howe's been here, we've played 35, we've won 21, lost 6, we've scored 57, and conceded 31.
It's all about the money, though.
So that look at 35 is basically a season. We're almost at a season under Howe, if that makes sense. All these years, I'm rattling off 68, 63, 65, 62 goals conceded. We've only conceded 31 under him, and we've got 8 clean sheets now already this season.
And
Already.
if you look at the game which we lost, I
unbelievable.
think the one player who wasn't playing was Sven Botman
Yeah.
against
He
Liverpool.
Yeah,
hasn't
he's
lost. He
unbeaten.
hasn't tasted
Hasn't lost
defeat.
a game.
hasn't lost a Newcastle shirt.
It's and listen, the point I'm trying to make, sorry, is that you can
fucking mint.
well, we are. I mean, there's no doubt, but in
We just believe in them stats, by the way.
no, I
You could
went,
have just made them
no,
up.
I went through the Premier League thing and I went through it all.
Blank.
Even when we were, it's my opinion, the Kevin Keegan era, of course, almost it's untouchable in my eyes and my heart, right? Well, couldn't defend really that well. I mean, people come back to us and say, well, you only conceded 2 less than Man United, blah, blah, blah. The Robson era, it was almost, you always had this feeling in my mind was, we'll just try and score more than you. That was the thing. We'll lose 5-4, but you're entertained. Do you know what I mean? Or 4-3 and all the rest of it. What we're doing at the minute is just so different, and I'm still not really used to it. If we are so to only concede 11 goals, man, and also to add, this season in the Premier League were the highest for clean sheets. 8.
Yeah.
I believe Arsenal's got 7, who's second. Who would have thought 16 games into the season we'd have the highest clean sheets? And I'm telling you, if you can keep clean sheets, I'm not sounding like Michael Owen here, but if you keep clean sheets, you got a fucking damn good chance of winning the game of football, right? So it's just, and that is where the difference. Well, there's a huge difference everywhere, but that is what I think Howe was criticised at Bournemouth and stuff, and people used to say, but can he set a team up not to concede? Well,
He's done it.
here we go.
He's done it. And I think we've got to give credit to the partnership between Fabian Schär and Botman as well.
100%.
They
And
work really well.
You know what? Shea is an unsung hero, I think, because a lot of people said he couldn't play in a 4, and he's a bit rash, he's a bit this, he's a bit that, but he's part of that. So you've got to give him as much credit as anyone else.
Nick Pope had now to do, really.
Again?
He didn't. I think he didn't have a
One.
shot on target until
It was
about
offside.
the
80 odd.
I think it was
Yeah,
offside.
70th minute.
The great save off Vardy was offside anyway, I believe.
Yeah.
But that was
No,
a
there's
great
another
save.
one. I think their first actual shot on target, which wasn't a legitimate shot, was a half-assed one, and he just caught it on anything.
And that's, I mean,
80-odd minute.
I know you look at the back 4 there, but I listen, How would say the same. It isn't just about the back 4; it's the entire team, isn't
the
it?
press of
That's
everybody. Yeah.
defending and working as a unit means them don't have shots and goal, etc., etc. But it's unbelievable, and I'm unsure where it's going to end. Like, I don't. Is it going to end, or is it just going to keep being like this all the time? I don't know.
I hope not.
It's
I hope not.
Nah. Right, let's dive.
You keep waiting for the bubble to burst, though, don't you?
You do, and I don't know if that's just because we're
we used to
trained
win.
that way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like scarred in our brain.
It is.
Right, let's go through the questions. Let's have a look. So the first one is from Josh Stockton, who did send in a donation. Thank you very much,
Cheers, Josh.
He says, "Hey lads, I hope you've had an amazing Christmas. I was genuinely shocked at how comfortable we looked against Leicester yesterday. This might be a daft question, but are we in a title race?" So I was asked this question on the match reaction. Okay. as a Newcastle fan, we're probably, like I said, we're probably programmed to sit here and say no, because we know the quality around it. Yes, we're doing really well at the moment, but we know the quality around it. And as good as we're at the moment, we're used to this dropping off at some point. We haven't had this continuation of being so good. But if you're looking from the outside in, let's say if you've never followed football ever before, right, and you come and look at that Premier League table and look at the stats, Newcastle 100% in the title race.
It's easy to be in a title race on paper, though, isn't it?
But on paper, we are. We are. How
Well,
can we not be?
well, we're
We're
not-
second in the league.
Not just on paper, it's factual.
Yeah.
It's factual. You know, we are, but I think it feels a jump, doesn't it? It feels a real jump to say yes. I mean, I've seen last week's we're winning now, but
it's because it's in such a short space of time. Like, you go back to Boxing Day last year and look at the comparison between where we were then versus where we are now, and it's a year.
Does that worry?
But it's night and day different.
Does that worry you? This is me going on. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, as I try to do. Is I've said this about so many managers in the past or teams where, you know, I can't remember them now, right? But there'll be a team who wins promotion, say from the Championship, right? Who should never have done it, and they get promoted, struggling Premier League manager sacked because their expectations changed.
Yeah.
Do you worry that, you know, a second now, and we go say next year going into New Year's Eve, we might be 7th? All of a sudden, fuck, that's near good. It's terrible. That.
You'll get you'll get certain fans that that feel like that. But you know, Twitter is the embodiment of that, because you've just got to look at the reactions before the game of people just reacting to the team news versus during and after, when things aren't going well on the pitch. The reaction that you see on there, it's people just always think the best and fear the worst.
One of the things I do want to highlight, because it was mentioned a couple of times in the commentary on Amazon, they mentioned the chant that the Newcastle fans were singing, where Newcastle were going to win the league.
Vardy, your glasses of grass, that one.
That one as well.
That was
that one
hilarious.
as well. But where Newcastle were going to win the league. We've said that in tongue-in-cheek for God knows how long. Whether we're sat in 20th in the Premier League or sat
we're only singing. We're singing it because we're just daring to dream, aren't we? You know, like, I'll sit here now and say I honestly don't believe we can win the league. But then I look at that league table, I look at the performances that we're playing at the minute and think, God, well, maybe it's good, you know? Which is it's absolutely mental to think like that.
I bet Leicester felt like that 16 games in. You know, like, and, you know, listen, I think you do look at the powerhouses like Man City that's around you. I mean, it's, you know, it's difficult to look past them.
Huge game coming up against Arsenal, though.
It is really, and I think that's
Arsenal would never have thought a year ago that they'd be sitting top of this table, you know, miles ahead of Man City. They think Man City, they certainly wouldn't expect Newcastle sitting on the coattails behind them.
Well, you look at the last game of the season when we beat Arsenal and them didn't finish the Champions League. And then, as you rightly say, if you had said them, you'll be top this time of Christmas or whatever. Near chance. And football's a funny game.
And that's it. And that's why things can happen in a short space of time to change the trajectory of a season. You've just got to keep riding the wave, haven't you? Which is what we're doing. As long as we keep working hard, giving 100% on the pitch, doing what we're doing, then we're gonna win it. That's all. That's all you can do, and then what happens.
Yeah. Next question is from Andy Hamilton. That says, what do you guys make of the whole Maddison thing? The radio said he was ill. Amazon said that was some sort of knee injury, suspicious, or nothing in it at all.
I don't think there's any chance we'll get him in January. That's my opinion. If we did, it would take an absolute shed load, which we've got, like, but I personally just think I can't say it, like, I really can't.
Did Paqueta play for us this weekend?
No.
There's your answer.
Well, how was that our answer?
Well, apparently he was signing for month after month after month. It's paper talk. Yeah. It's rumours. It's paper talk. Media trying to sell a story. Yeah, were we interested in him at the start of the season? Possibly. We inquired about him. We went out and signed Isaac.
Do you think it's
that finished it for me
because of our league position, though? Because the price that we're probably going to have to pay for Maddison, the club might look at it again. Do we need him right now when we're sat in this position in the Premier League? maybe we're sat in 7th or 8th. Maybe they thought he's going to push us to that
Well,
next level.
I'll throw it back to you, and that maybe they might get around the table and go, well, you know, it is if we could, you know, if we do load this year, might go all the way, or maybe, sorry, in their mind, might be we'll cement maybe top 3 for a Champions League place. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying the league's huge, but I mean, like, it's yeah.
I still think we'll be sniffing around like
for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't think
we'll be knocking on the door just to get some sort of valuation and show our interest.
I think if he became available, then I think we'd potentially be interested in him, as would a whole host of other teams. Will they actively look to sell him? Will he actively look to get away? I don't know.
Would you? So, right, let's say it's going to, and it's I'm going back on what I said only a few months ago, but I had said get him. I remember saying to you,
we did bid for him, didn't we?
Well, apparently we didn't we? It was 30 or 40 that wasn't, or whatever.
That was 2 or 3 times.
Didn't Roger say that'll get his left leg or left foot or something like that?
Well, they were holding out for 100 million or something stupid like that.
Well, it's their player, right? I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's their player. Then that's what they want, you know. I just feel like I'm going to throw a name out there. It's probably ridiculous, but why go for like Declan Rice, or why not just throw everything you've got at Bellingham, everything you've got, and go, we'll sell you the dream of the next 10 years. We'll sell you that, and he could then play in that 3. Oh my Jesus Lord, can you imagine, man?
Saint wouldn't get a game.
Of course he would. Of course he would. I just feel like, I appreciate we still need cover at this right hand side and all the rest of it, because Almiron can't play every single week. But I'd rather have. Well, we just spoke about 10 minutes ago, didn't we, about upgrading the position. And no offense to Longstaff if you're watching, sorry. But like,
that is a position you would look at.
Can you imagine if you signed Rice or you signed Bellingham? Because West Ham's not taking out. And again, we have the power, man.
But again, look at, and that's what I'm saying. Football is such a fickle game. West Ham were at the opposite end of the table.
Yeah, they were
pushing for European positions.
And when I'm about money, you might have to pay 50 for Madison. You might have to pay 80 for Rice. Like, don't get us wrong. All right, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just feel if we could strengthen in that area with an absolute world-class player, and that along to accompany Bruno as well.
I just sit here with a smile on my face as we're talking about these players.
I feel a bit embarrassed even saying what I've just said all there, but you know what I mean?
We're second in the league.
I know,
in the league. And we're having a great cup run as well. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah.
And we're coming up against Leicester, who we've just absolutely battered.
That's the thing for me. Let's just win the Carabao Cup.
Well, the next question.
Fuck the league. We're not going to win the league. Right? Let's win the Carabao Cup.
So this one is from Joseph Brook. That says, "Hi lads, hope you all had a good Christmas. Do you think we can win a cup this season?"
Yes,
100%.
Yes.
Why not?
There's never been a better time, or more, in my mind, to be as confident. I mean, we are beating anyone at the minute.
Do you think that the cup game coming up against Leicester, that's a full strength squad?
Has to be.
Oh, 100%.
Has to be.
100%, yeah. But Bournemouth was, I feel. Well, now you're getting down to the nitty gritty, like, you know, and I think, you know, everybody, they'll all know, Howe will know, especially, God, I guess through this in the semi-finals, man. You know what I mean? You're so close. And I'll say it again, that there's not many left in that competition. You know, other than, of course, City's there, but like, there's not many in there.
But the fact that if you get past Leicester, then you go into the semis where it's 2 legs. Anybody at St. James's Park, we've proven we can score a boatloads of goals.
Get them on a return leg, I'm telling you. We'll just roll the fucking ball in the net. I'm telling you now.
That's the thing.
We'll suck it in the goal. Like.
Imagine, like, and this is what we wanted a couple of years ago in COVID with bloody Man City. Get them back to there, and we were shit then.
Yeah.
But we were going well in the cups. We had get the crowd behind it, and who knows what's possible. The way that we're playing at the moment, and that's why I think it's the best chance we've had for a long, long time. There's a lot of big teams gone out already. Yes, there's still big teams in there, but
and we won them.
It's a hell of a chance.
Just to touch on the transfer window, when Dan Mann sends in a question, I think he just became a member at night as well. So thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Says, great show, lads. I know we'll have touched on this, but he says, do you think we will go for it in the transfer window to try and secure top 4? Deka, you mentioned that in regards to Madison. Will the owners look and say he could guarantee that top 4 finish? Do you think so? If I reword the question a little bit, do you think it'll be similar to the last January's transfer window? We'll bring a boatloads of players in, or do you think we'll solely look at 1 or 2 quality players?
Yeah, I think 1 or 2. Aye. I mean, it's hard to speculate, isn't it? Because you see rumours saying there's only going to be this to spend, 40, 50 million to spend. And I remember in the summer saying there wasn't much to spend.
Who knows?
I know, but we don't really know. What we do know though, if a player comes available who's on that list, there will be a meeting had where the higher power will say yes or no, right? That's proven with Isak that they got on the tail and went, actually, do you know what it is? We want this guy, let's accelerate it and do it. So if there is a player, be it Maddison, be it whoever, if the opportunity comes along and they believe it's for the good of the club to move it forward, they'll do it. They'll pull the trigger. And that's why I actually feel really excited when I think that way, because I'll say it again, I still feel that there's no reason why that it can't be a really, really top quality player. There's no reason why it can't be. So yeah.
I think it's just about attracting I think maybe that
it's the character.
Rice, Bellingham names are probably just that step above at the minute, but somebody that's got similar qualities like that, but are probably a little bit less unknown. So coming from a league abroad for a lesser fee, but coming in and being able to do that type of job. So rather than spunking, let's say, £80 million on Maddison, you're going by 2 £40 million players that, you know, can achieve what Botman has done, what Bruno's done, because that's their fees. That's what they cost.
Yeah. That's very true. There's no doubt there'll be a name or names, that Howe's been looking at along with the scouting staff, and it might be a shock to some people, but as I go back, what I say, we have the power to do it, and I think and equally what I'll say is there might be where we might not do anything because the names that we have on whatever list, Howe might go nah.
I can't see it happening, mine. Well, I think there'll be at least one.
Oh, I do as well. I'm just saying that I think that I was speaking to someone the other day actually knowing about like how some people have seen how it could have went in regards to Aubameyang went to Chelsea, for example. People will say, like all the money we've got, that's the type of player we should be going for. Whereas we know that is not the type of player that we want or need or desire. It's a name and blah, blah, blah. You want the characters, I think, are so important. The quality is there, of course it is, but you need the characters, and that's definitely what Howe, on every single transfer he's done, that's what they've got, hasn't it? There's no question. Botman, your Brunos, even Kris Wood coming in, all of them have got the right character. You know what I mean? And I think
lovely lads.
Lovely lads. Lovely lads.
Oh, lovely lads. Are you still got anything that you would like to add before we end this podcast recording?
How lovely was it to see the players at the end of the match in with the supporters celebrating? And there's a little video clip doing the rounds of Cher, Bruno singing along with the chants.
Singing
great.
It's great.
I've got one thing I want to mention.
Big Joe as well.
Stop quote tweeting and tweeting out that photo of that bloke.
That's what I was
pinching the shirt, because he wasn't pinching the shirt, and everybody knows he wasn't pinching the shirt now. But I'm still seeing tweets. So if you've got a tweet out saying that, oh look at this arsehole stealing the shirt, delete it, because this poor bloke is getting it in the neck. But if you look at the video, he's saying it's his shirt and he's trying to nick it.
He's like going
off more.
The kid's moms came out and said that he gave it to the kid as well.
So stop doing it just so you're getting a few retweets and likes on it, man. Pack it in.
Yeah.
What else?
No, I don't think so. No, just
it's bloody lovely, isn't it?
It's unbelievable.
It's absolutely the best. We will be back with your match previews, match reactions, more podcasts as well. We're going to record another one after this one, which is going to be a nice little midweek filler, I would say.
Before Leeds at the weekend.
Before Leeds as well. So thanks everybody. If you want to like the video, it means a hell of a lot to us as well.
If you want to? If you want to, do it. Like the video now.
Just do it. If you want to become a subscriber, even better. And if you want to go that extra step further, that's $2.99 a month to become a member. As always, you get early access to videos, and you will get access to the Telegram group, which is busy as usual. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Ta-ra.
Have a happy new year.